The chassis of our robot's going to be made out of a sheet metal box that we're going to design here right now. And we're going to begin by sketching on the top plane. So we'll select the top plane and hit sketch. And we're going to draw a center rectangle centered on the origin. It's really important you center this rectangle on the origin. We're going to use that to locate our sketch blocks later on. So we can, after we draw a rectangle out in space, we can right click and Smart Dimension, and the dimensions are going to be 5.5 by 9.5. And that's it for this sketch, so we'll exit sketch, and we will extrude our sketch up in the positive Y direction 3¼ inches, 3.25. Now that we have our solid, we're going to convert it to sheet metal, and to do that you can go to your sheet metal tab here, and if it's not displayed you can always right click and make it active by clicking on the sheet metal. So we'll go to sheet metal and we're going to convert to sheet metal, and when it does that it asks us for the base of our parts. That's going to be the bottom, so we can click the bottom face, and the thickness of the sheet metal, we're going to be using 22 gauge sheet metal, which is roughly 30 thousandths of an inch, and the bend radius we're going to also keep it at 30 thousandths of an inch. So for the bend edges we're going to select the 4 bottom edges, and let's see, further down we don't have to do anything in these sections here. For the corner defaults we're going to go with an overlapped corner, and the gap we're going to have at 1/1000th of an inch, so 0.001, and the default overlap ratio we're going to have that at 0. Let's see, for the relief we want to change that to tear, and that's it. So here's our sheet metal box. Alright, now that we have our sheet metal box, we need to add some flanges to it so we can spot weld everything together. And to do that we'll go to the Edge Flange tool, and it's going to ask us to select a couple of edges to add flanges to. So when we zoom in, we're going to select the inner edges of these longer sections here. So if you zoom in you can see our gap here, and we're going to select the inside edge, and we're going to drag it into the part. So we're going to do this on all 4 corners. Alright. Nope, wrong edge. Alright, so now that we have our edges selected, we can change some of the parameters here. So the flange length we need about 3/4 of an inch to spot weld everything together. And these selections down here, the outer, inner, and tangent bend, they just change the where the flange is measured from, whether it's measured from the outer corner, inside the corner, or tangent. We can go with the inner. And for flange position we want the material on the inside, so that puts our flanges inside the front and back faces of our chassis here, which is what we want. So green check mark, and we now have our flanges. So the next thing we want to do is put some holes in this chassis so we can mount everything to it. And in order to do that, we're going to start out by Going to the front face here, we'll click on it and we'll begin by sketching on the front face. And all the sketches are already prepared for you guys. They're saved as sketch blocks. So we can go to Tools, Blocks, Insert, and browse for our sketch blocks. They're going to be in a sketch block folder that's set up for you guys. I just have to browse for it here. And for the front face, we're going to use the front sketch block. And the insertion point, it's meant to be inserted right on the origin. So we'll set it at the origin, green check mark. And there's our sketch. So we'll exit sketch. And we will extruded cut. And for the direction, we're going to go up to next. So it only cuts up to the other side of the surface here. So we're going to do the same thing for all 5 sides here. So now we can do the left side. So Tools. Alright, so we'll go to Tools, Blocks, Insert. Before we do that, we have to click on the left side, begin a sketch. Now we can insert our sketch blocks. We go to Blocks, Insert, and we'll browse for the left side block. So that's on the desktop. Sketch blocks, left. And again, we're going to insert this one at the origin. Green check mark. Exit sketch. Extruded cut. Up to next. Green check mark. So now we can do the right side. So select the right side, begin a sketch. Tools, Blocks, Insert. We're going to find our sketch block folder. Right side. Insert it at the origin. Exit sketch. Extruded cut. Up to next. Alright, we have the back side left. So we're going to select it, begin a sketch, Tools, Blocks, Insert, and we'll browse again. We'll choose the back sketch block, insert it at the origin, exit sketch, extruded cut, up to next. Okay, and we still have the bottom, so we can select the bottom, sketch, Tools, Blocks, Insert. We'll browse for the bottom sketch block. Bottom, open, and this one also goes at the origin. Features, extruded cut, up to next. Alright, so here is our chassis with all our cutouts that we need. The end.